So, good evening to each and everyone, especially to our gorgeous teacher, Ma'am Frances. So now, let's continue to our discussion, which is the lesson 2, Instructional Strategies. So, demonstration. What is demonstration? Demonstration entails demonstrating by reason or proof, explaining or clarifying through the use of examples or experiments. Simply put, demonstration means to clearly show. So, from the word demo, a demo is what you give to show how something works. So, for example, atong teacher niya na siya nga, nagpahimo siya project nato and then mo na siya nga, demo na sa imong classmate, giunsa na nimo paghimo imong project. So, ang demo kay naghatag kag explanation kung unsa nimo giunsa nimo pagbuhat imong project or maghatag kag mga proof nga kanang giunsa nimo siya paghimo kung sa mga gamit nga imong ang imong gigamit. So that is demonstration. A lesson could be presented through a brief demonstration performed by a student, teacher, or an invalid specialist. It is a teaching strategy. So ang demonstration is a teaching strategy that is best employed when expensive equipments will be used, chemicals and expensive materials are specified, and technical know-how is needed. So, di ba, if kung na yung mga experimentation, di ba, magamit sila mga chemicals, mga expensive materials, and equipments. Said lesson required expert knowledge in a particular topic or skills in handling tools related to the topic. So, the rest of the class act as observers. So, di ba, if kung na mag-demo, di ba, kay kuanta ka nang mo-observe ta kung sa gibuhat nila and the ways sila mutabi, eagerly following the planned sequence of activities. Demonstration may be a part of another methodology such as discussion or experimentation. Diba, if kung mag-discuss atong teacher, diba, kay mo explain siya, maghatag siya proof, i-clarify niya, so that is as well as demonstration or experimentation. So, after the activity, clarification questions are entertained. So, di ba, if after sa discussion sa atong teacher, di ba, mag-ask tag questions. So, after sa experimentation po, mag-ask po tag mga question para ma-clarify jud. So, that is demonstration. So, as you can see on the picture, that is an example of demonstration. Kaya nag-demo siya or ga-explain siya atubang sa iyang mga estudyante. And naghatag siya mga proof about anang iyang demo. So that is demonstration. So, inquiry-based learning. When we say inquiry-based learning, is an approach to learning that emphasizes the student's role in the learning process rather than the teacher telling students what they need to know. Students are encouraged to explore the materials, ask questions, and share their ideas. So kani kay dili lang kay ang teacher kay kanang muhatag lag mga kaniton ina ninyo class, kani i-memorize ni ninyo class. So dili ana. So ang inquiry based learning kay ang students kay pwede sila mo ask og questions or makashare sila mga ilang mga thoughts and opinions or ideas sa ilang mga classmates. And also, ang teacher, maghatag sila mga problems or mga scenarios nga ang students kay mo think kung unsay mga solutions nga dapat pagubuhaton. So, inquiry-based starts by posing questions, problem, or scenarios rather than simply presenting established facts or portraying a smooth path to knowledge. The process is often assisted by a facilitator. Inquirers will identify and research issues and questions to develop their knowledge or solution. Inquiry-based learning is closely related to problem-based learning. So later on nato na siya i-tackled. And is generally used in small-scale investigations and projects as well as a research. Inquiry-based instruction allows students to develop and practice critical thinking skills. So, sakto jud kay they will think man kanang mga solution. So, ma-practice jud nila ilang the ways sila mo think. Ma-practice nila ang critical thinking skills. So, that is inquiry-based learning. So, a specific learning process that students engage in during inquiry learning includes, the first one is creating questions to their own. So, they will be the one to create questions sa ilang, to their own. Second is obtaining supporting evidence to answer the questions. Third is explaining the evidence collected. So, i-explain nila ang mga evidences nga ilang na-gathered or ilang na-collect. The fourth one is connecting the explanation to the knowledge obtained from the investigative process. And the last one is creating argument and justification for the explanation. So, mano siya ang inquiry-based learning. And also, there are reasons why we use inquiry-based learning, why we need to use inquiry-based learning. So the first one is nurture students' passions and talents, empower students' voice and honor students' choice, and many more. So that is inquiry-based learning. So project-based learning, when we say project-based learning, is an instructional approach designed to give students the opportunity to develop knowledge and skills through engaging projects set around challenges and problems they face in real world. So, one of the example is kanang tagan ta sa atong teacher og research problem, di ba? Mag-think tag mga problems nga in real world nga in reality jud nga sulbado nato. So that is an example of project-based learning. So, as the name implies, involves project, which involves a complex task and some form of students' presentation, and on creating an actual product. It focuses on a production model. The driving force is the end product, but the key to success is the skills acquired during the process of product production. In other words, the learning effect is much important than the product itself. Students do project-based learning by first is defining the purpose of creating the end product. So, i-define kung unsay purpose sa inyong study, di ba? Second is identifying their audience. So, mag-identify jud nato kinsa atong mga audience. Third is doing research on the topic. Fourth is designing the product. Fifth is implementing for design. And sixth is solving the problems that arise. And finally, seven, coming up with the product. This is followed by a product presentation and most important of all, self-evaluation and reflection on the product and the entire production process. So that is project-based learning. So, when we say project-based learning, problem-based learning is a student-centered pedagogy in which students learn about subject by solving an open-ended problem and trigger material. So, problem-based learning, also known as PBL, is a teaching strategy in which complex real-world problems are used as the vehicle to promote students' learning of concepts. So, ang teacher ani kay muhatag silang mga real-world problem sa ilang student nga ang estudyante kay maayo mosulbad nga solusyon nga kana nga problem. So that is problem-based learning. In addition to course content, PBL can promote the development of critical thinking skills. So if ma-promote jud ang students ilang critical thinking skills, ilang problem-solving abilities, and communication skills. It can also provide opportunities for working in groups, so collaboration with their other classmates, and finding and evaluating research materials and lifelong learning, according to Dutch et al. 2001. PBL can be incorporated into any learning situation. In the strictest definition of PBL, the approach is used over the entire semester as the primary method of teaching. However, broader definition and uses range from including PBL in the lab and design classes too. Any subject area can be adapted to PBL with a little creativity, while the core problem will vary among disciplines. There are some characteristics of good PBL problem that transcend fields, according to Dutch, Grow, and Allen 2001. And the first one is the problem must motivate students to seek out a deeper understanding of incorporate problem should require students to make reasoned decision and to defend them. So, ang problem dapat makamotivate sa student. So, the second one is the problem should incorporate the content objectives in such a way as to connect it to previous courses, knowledge. And the third one is if used for a group project, the problem needs a level of complexity to ensure that the students must work together to solve it. And the last one is if used for a multi-stage project, the initial of the problem should be open-ended and engaging to draw students into the problem. Excuse me. So, ang problem-based learning and inquiry-based learning are both student-centered teaching. So, ang problem-based learning and inquiry-based learning kay related sila, duha kay both sila student-centered teaching pedagogies that encourage active learning and critical thinking through investigation. 'Di ba? If kung mag-research ta, mag-investigate man jud ta na, no. So, that is problem-based learning. So as you can see on the picture, sa babaw kay traditional learning, ang teacher kay moingon sila ko ng unsay dapat makatunan sa estudyante and i-memorize sa student and problem assigned to illustrate how to use it. So ang students kay may mo kanon so nila paggamit ana. Pero sa problem-based learning kay assignan sila problem sa teacher and the students will be the one to identify kung unsa ilang need nga mahibaw-an. And then also kanang ilang solve ang problem. They will learn and apply to solve the problem. So that is problem-based learning. So, discovery learning, a hands-on style of learning originated by Jerome Bruner in 1960s. In this, students actively participate instead of passively receiving knowledge. So, ang student daw kay mo participate. Dili lang kay maminaw sa discussion sa teacher. So, kani sila kay mo participate jud. Students interact with their environment by exploring and manipulating objects, wrestling with questions and controversies, or performing experiments. To effectively use the discovery learning in a classroom, a teacher needs to not only be flexible, so ang teacher ani dili lang kay flexible, but also well prepared, organized, and have an understanding of how what is discovered in class is educationally valuable and can lead to further investigations for the student. So that is discovery learning. So, Q&A relationship. Q&A relationship is a study that helps students understand the different types of questions. So, we all kanang kabauta nga na mga different types sa questions. So, by learning that the answer to some question are right there in the text, that some answer require to the readers to think and search, and that some answers can only be answered on my own. Students recognize that they must first consider the questions before developing an answer. So if ang teacher na to muhatag og question, di ba? Dapat pa jud nato i-analyze jud ang questions para before ta maka-answer kay unsaon man nato pag-answer sa question if wala nato gi-analyze. So dapat jud i-analyze ang question. So, why use question and answer? So, the first one is it can improve students' reading comprehension. So, ma-improve daw ang students the way sila mo basa, the way sila mo read. And the second is it teaches students how to ask questions about their reading and where to find answer to them. The third one is it helps students to think about the text they are reading and beyond it too. And the last one is it inspires them to think creatively and work cooperatively while challenging them to use higher level thinking skills. So that is question and answer. So, social media, I know kita tanan nakabaw taon sa ring social media because I do believe nga kita siguro tanan nagamit ani. So, social media refers to website and applications that are designed to allow people to share content quickly, efficiently, and in real time. So, 'di ba ang social media kay makonekta sa atong mga loved ones or natin mga communications sa atong loved ones and sa atong mga friends through social media. And also, makuha po tag mga news sa social media, dali na lang kay ta makabaw og mga news kay i-share dayon sa mga tao. But ang the most important of all kay makagather tag mga information. So, use of social media in education is provide students with the ability to get more useful information to connect with learning groups and other educational system that make education convenient. So, di ba, if ang teacher na to maghatag og assignment, then Most i-search ra nato din na mga answer na dayon mga information dayon mo gather ta then I collect dayon natong mga information di para sa una kay ang student jud kay muadto pag library para maka-gather of information or makakuha og mga information. So karon kay mas mapadali na lang, mas pa-easy na lang kaayo kay i-search na nato na nadayon answer. So that is social media. Social media is a term that is broadly used to describe any number of technology systems related to collaboration and community according to Justin 2012. While it appears that a specific definition may be elusive according to Kaplan and Henlen 2010. Social media is often described by examples, social networking sites, blogs, wikis, multimedia platforms, virtual game worlds, and virtual social worlds. Social network tools afford students and institutions with multiple opportunities to improve learning. So, ang social network tools daw kay makatabang siya sa student as well as sa institution para ma-improve ilang the way sila mo tudlo or the way ka na makakuha og mga learnings ang student. So that is social media or social network rather. So ano ba siya next? Wait sa okay ito siya next. Ano man eh? So, dara na next na. So, games or gamification. So, the use of games or gamification motivates students to learn by using video games, design, and game elements in learning environment. So, di ba naman yung mga students nga, mas ma-motivate sila if kung magduwa sila mga video game, di ba? So, the goal is to maximize enjoyment and engagement through capturing the interest of learners and inspiring them to continue learning. So, I know nga ang games or gamification na siya kanang advantage o disadvantage. But in this, kay dili nalang tay limitation, dili magpalabi kay di na siya maayo. So that is games or gamification. So competition. Competition is any form brings out the best in people and pushes them to excel. So, di ba, if kung mo-apil ta competition, nice kay sa feeling, like ma-proud ta sa atong kagalingon, kay apil ta na. So, in school, if used effectively, it can enhance learning significantly. Certainly, competition in the classroom is quite healthy. It should, in fact, be encouraged. It allows students to extend themselves, to exploit their real capabilities, and maximize their true potential. So, sa pag-apil nato sa competition kay mapagawas jud nato kung unsay mga atong abilities, atong capabilities or to bring out the best in us jud ang competition. So it is most productive when it occurs among students of similar abilities. So that is competition. So debate. I know kita tanan nakaagi na tag-debate. So, debate refers to a discussion in which two or more people advocate opposing position on a topic or questions in an attempt to make an audience or the other advocate accept their position. So, diba, if kung na-debate naman dyan duha ka groups, ang atulibutang group A and group B. So, kani siya if kung ang teacher nato ipa-debate niya about nga particular nga topic, so dapat jud nato nga i-persuade nato atong teacher nga molaban nato as well as atong mga other classmates. So most people are familiar with participating in formal debates such as trying to persuade friends why a particular film, song, book, artist, etc. is better than another. Debate in its simplest form requires a question, statement, or idea with at least two opposing position, each of which is defended against the others by an advocate, often with an impartial moderator ensuring the discussion remains focused. Diba, if kung mag-debate ta, dapat jud i-defend jud nato kung unsa jud atong kuan. So, that is debate. Sorry. It is also important that the moderator ensures that the discussion does not become personal and that the participants remain focused and composed. And the set of ground rules is useful to reduce the possibility and impact if any problem. So, ang debate jud kay dako ka siya makatabang kay by makuha tag mga lain-laing classmate na to so lain ka nang makuha tag mga new knowledge kay mo share ba tag mga atong thoughts, opinions about anang topic. So debate jud is very crucial jud sa mga students para mo deeper pa jud ang atong knowledge. So that is debate. So that's all. Thank you for listening. By the way, I am Estrella Casey from BS Ed 1 to 5 Social Studies. So that's all. Thank you for listening and God bless you all. Thank you.